Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from SpeechModification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent Training. Welcome to our Friday live question and answer class, where I take your questions regarding American English pronunciation, the American accent, American intonation, anything that will help you improve your personal and professional communication in American English. Many of you have been joining our Word of the Day classes every day. It's been a wonderful series where we cover your requests. And if you have a request for Word of the Day, please feel free to leave that on any of my videos. And of course, today you can ask about your words and your questions and get the answers live. Right now, I have a bit of a waiting list on that Word of the Day series because there have been so many wonderful requests. And I just love getting your questions and requests because it not only helps you, but other viewers as well. Many people struggle with the same words in American English because of patterns in the words, because of spelling, and because of accent patterns that come from your native language. Today, I want to start off with a couple of sentences. So one was a request from one of our viewers, and I want to cover that since it doesn't really fit into our Word of the Day series that well. And then I also had for the thumbnail for this class today, I had a little phrase, what is he going to do? And I want to talk about how Americans say that influence speech, and then I'll get to your questions. Wonderful to see all of the members here today, as well as everyone else joining. Thank you so much. So the request from our viewer was for the phrase, where were you born? And I find this to be a challenging combination of words, even though it's a simple phrase, because there's a lot of R sounds in the phrase. And so we also have some spelling to look at, how we spell these R sounds and these sounds. So we have, last week, one of our viewers was asking about R-controlled vowels. I also call those R diphthongs. And what those are is when we have the vocalic R, so the R in the middle and ends of words, it sounds like And then sometimes we have another vowel plus the so that would be an R diphthong. So for example, in where, we have the A and the where, or the air diphthong. So where, even though it's spelled with ERE, has the air sound. So for where were you born, where were, we have the where sound. It's actually the exact same pronunciation as this type of where, like in warehouse, or the wares meaning goods. So where, and then were just has my vocalic sound, no other vowel sound. So even though these are spelled with the same combination of letters at the end, we have a where, and then we have were. That's also the same as this kind of spelling. And I'm going to write it as just the ER. So where, were, and then we have you. And lastly, born. This is an example of an OR that is an O sound plus an It is the diphthong or. Some OR words actually say So for example, work and word, those have the sound rather than the or sound. But born actually has an O or orn. This is one of the more challenging R diphthongs. So working on words like or, more, born, especially when we have to go from the or to the N. Many people struggle with that. Where were you born? The stress in this phrase is on born. Where were you born? Unless you're changing the meaning a little bit and you're trying to clarify, where were you born? Otherwise, born is the most important word that comes at the end, the content word. The only reduction I would say that we do here is that we may change the U to more of a ya with a vowel schwa. So actually it would be more like ya. Where were you born? Where were you born? But that would be only in fairly fast speech. It's perfectly okay to use a clear oo vowel. Where were you born? I would definitely use an oo if I was saying, where were you born? So if somebody asked me, where were you born? And then I responded, oh, where were you born? The stress would change to you. Otherwise, we're stressing born and we might be reducing to yeah. Okay, so kind of a complicated phrase. I went into a lot of different details because I'm not sure what the viewer was struggling with. So I hope that whatever elements were causing confusion are cleared up there. And I'll get to my what's he going to do at the end, because I see we have a long list of requests. So I want to make sure I make most of the time in today's class about what you would like to know. So let's get to the beginning. We have Dana wants to know about the words thene or thine. I don't know that word, so I'll have to look it up. Antioxidant and antibiotics. So I'll look up your word, the last word last. So for antioxidant, for these ANTI words, I can say it like anti, vowel a, and then an E or anti, or anti, sometimes with a diphthong I. So for me, I say antioxidant with an E, antioxidant, with a stress on ox, antioxidant. Antibiotics, I say that one with I. You can say antibiotics, that sounds a little strange. Again, stress on by, antibiotics. Oh, no, on otics. Antibiotics. And then TH, your other word is THINE. And maybe that's a suffix at the end of some other similar words. So let's look it up. I usually use the Oxford Learners Dictionary because it'll show me both the British and the American pronunciation, and there are good recordings I can listen to. Sometimes if a word like yours is not that common, it's trying to change that to autocorrect. Sorry about that. Then I might have to use another dictionary. Yeah, I'm not finding your word. So I'm going to come back to you on that one. And we can also make sure I'll do some research between now and our members class on Sunday. So Dana's one of our channel members, and we're having live question and answer classes just for members. So those are smaller groups once a week. Right now, they're going to be on Sundays. And of course, we'll continue to have our big group class here on Fridays for everyone, no membership required. But if you're interested in getting some of those perks like Dana has for membership, check out after class. You can go to the channel page and there's the join button, and it'll show you here under membership. There's a membership page or membership option. And you'll also see on any of the videos on the channel, there's a button that says join, and it'll tell you about what additional perks the members get and what the rates are. We have 3 different levels of membership with different types of extra videos, extra live classes, and also for our executive members, we're having small group classes over Google Meets. And those will be about once a month, and that will give you actually personal instruction where I can hear you and see you and give you feedback. So it's just a new way I'm trying to get more of my one-on-one and group class training to more people because many of you are coming to these classes regularly. And so I'm just reaching out and trying to expand. If you're interested in one-on-one training or my other live group classes, I do have small classes of 4 people each, and those are starting up in September. You can check those out on SpeechModification.com. Okay, so sorry I didn't know one of your words, and I will do some more research on that one. Hi, nice to see you, Mohammed and Miguel. So many familiar faces here, it's wonderful. Okay, so the next question was, what is the T sound when Americans say, I don't understand very quickly? Good question. So on the word don't, in that phrase, I don't understand, we use what I call a stopped T, where I don't really say the T. So I don't say don't with a puff of air. I move my tongue up and stop the air quickly, don't, from the N to the T to mark that T sound, but I don't let the air release. We do the same thing with the word can't. So if I say it by itself, I can do a little T, can't, but I also say it like this, I can't understand, I don't understand. And so it may sound to your ear like there's no T there, but if I said it without a T, I don't understand, don't, the N would be held longer and it would sound incorrect. So a very short N, lift the tongue up for the T, don't understand. I'll be talking about those NT words in an upcoming word of the day class that was requested. I'll be talking about words like curtain and certain and mountain when there's that stopped T and also a syllabic N sound. So that's an interesting combination, and we'll go into some more detail in that upcoming class. Hi, everybody. We have a question about hill and hell, well and will. So I talk about, I did recently do a video about will, wheel, wheel, well, etc. So you can look at the Word of the Day series, and you can check out a little more detail on even more permutations and combinations here. But for these two, and it's also true for fill and fell, hill and hell, the difference is this is a vowel I and this is a vowel eh. So this is my pink pig vowel, and this is my red tent vowel. And what you want to watch out for is that the I vowel is more closed. So if I'm saying will versus well, well is more central. My jaw is a little more open and my tongue is more in the center of my mouth. And in these pairs, it might be hard to hear those differences and make those differences. So what I usually suggest is use another word with I and another word with eh to help you separate them out. For example, I would maybe try big hill and what would be good with hell? Red hell, or it will and went well. And you probably don't have too much trouble making a difference between the vowels in it and went. So you can use it to match with will and went to match with well. And you can feel, can I keep that? Can I hear that the vowel stays the same? It will, went well, and that I want my vowel and my tongue position to be the same. So that's one technique. You can also use my vowels playlist for more examples of words and those contrast words, and that should help you sort those out. Thank you. That was a good question. Hi, welcome to our first-time viewers, many of you. And we have Muhammad wants to know about wow, a lot of words. Particular, category, constitution, Christianity, hilarious, Arctic, January, and literary. Okay, so let's, I will refer to a couple of resources I have. So particular and particularly, I made a Word of the Day video about that that'll walk you through that. And I can send you the link for that because I have your member information. So I'll send that to you. Category, what we're looking at is vowel a, category, and that T is a flap. So it's more like a D, category, first syllable stress, and then we have a schwa, categor. There's our or vowel again, and we end with E. So long, short, category. Constitution, we have that C-O-N says an ah. So think about that. Ah being a clear vowel, constitu, and then our tu is our stressed vowel. We've had a lot of Word of the Day videos lately that have ended with our shun syllable. Almost no vowel there, a little bit of a vowel schwa and an SH sound. I'll hold your other words if you don't mind. Christianity, hilarious, Arctic, January, and literary. I'll make a note of those and we'll cover them in our Sunday class because we'll have more time in a smaller group. And also, I have a specific video for January as well. So you can search on the channel page using the search tool, or after class, I'll send you the link for those words, particular and January. Thank you so much for those requests. Akash says, I don't understand its stop sound. So are you saying a stopped, you don't understand what I was saying about the stopped T? Or what we say in its. In that case, we use an aspirated T. I release the T right into the S, its. You can ask and clarify if I didn't answer your question correctly, Akash. Okay, so we have another question from Randy, our member. That he's asking about, is the WH in where different than the W in were? And nope, both of those, where has air and were just has So the only difference is the R sound, the air versus R sound. WH just says W in where. That is a holdover from where, which, and who, and why used to be more of a hua. So the spelling reflects an old pronunciation that we don't do anymore. Now we just pronounce those with a W sound. Good question. Thank you, Randy. I'm sure other people had that question as well. I do also, Mohammed, have a video for suggestion. And so I'll come back to that. Thank you so much. Rhythm is another one that spelling, it's actually harder to spell it correctly than it is to say it correctly. It just has the I vowel, rhythm, the voiced TH sound, rhythm, and we go right into the M, maybe a little bit of a schwa in there. So it just sounds like rhythm. Of course, R and TH are not simple sounds, so I don't mean to simplify that word too much, but the spelling is kind of confusing with those extra H sounds. Those are just silent H's. Okay, Randy looked up thene for us. Like the noun caffeine, it's caffeine, especially when it occurs in tea. All right, so I don't know how to read that IPA you put in there for us, Randy. Maybe thane. Thank you so much for looking that up. I'll cover that again later. Akash wants to know about year versus ear. This is in my word of the day request list, and it's coming up soon. It's actually near the top of the list. I've been waiting to make a video for it because it's a complicated one for many people, but thank you for bringing it up. I'll talk about it today. So the challenge is that ear has my E sound and my sound. So it sounds like ear. And my year, the difference is it has a y sound. That's how I write it in IPA. And then my E, and then my And so it's like a y, E, and then So for some people, that's hard for them to hear the difference between year and ear, because the y, this sound that the Y makes is really an E and an together. And so they both start with an E, except the y is so fast on that E. And I have to make sure that is there. So practicing other words with the y at the beginning can help you with year. So for example, maybe a word like yes or yesterday is easier for you to do the y sound. And so you can practice saying yes, year, really lengthening the y, getting that glide, rather than ear, I'm gliding only from the E to the There's no y at the beginning. So I will be making a video for this for part of my Word of the Day series. And also, you may know I have other videos that go into more detail for these kinds of close pairs where it's difficult to differentiate them. This is a struggle for many people based on their native language. It's hard for them to hear this little difference between the y and the E. So you can also try pairing like we did with the other words, yes and year versus eat, for example, and ear, so that you can feel when I say eat and I say yes, those two don't sound very similar to me, and I can make that differentiation. Great question. Thank you. Okay. I'm far behind on your questions. We have a question about when my class of 4 will be. So right now I have 2 options, and I'll be adding additional options as I have more people joining the class. So if you go to SpeechModification.com, you'll see on our homepage you'll see the information. Here's our group classes, and you can just click on Learn More or Register Today, and you'll see the days and times. So there's going to be a Wednesday class at 12:30 Pacific time. So that's 3:30 Eastern time, starting on September 9th. And there's going to be a Saturday morning class from 10 to 10:45, starting on September 12th. And to register, you just can purchase the class here on my website. You can also let me know that you're interested in a group class and what other days and times you like, because once these 2 classes fill, I'll be offering more days and times as well. So I hope that some of you will consider joining those classes. It's a great way to get some feedback and some specific help from me. I've really been enjoying the group classes so far. I used to do those here locally in person, and now we're doing them online, which means they're open to more people from all around the country and all around the world. Of course, unfortunately, we can't really meet in person easily right now. We'll probably resume those in Bellevue at some point in the future. But for now, it's kind of nice because I can meet more of you who are from all over. Okay, so let's see. Miguel wants to know about the word hierarchy. I have a video for this, Miguel, I'm pretty sure, but we'll talk about it briefly, and then I'll make sure that I send you that link as well. Hierarchy. So what we have there is, this spelling is also confusing. It's just the same. The first part is the same as hire, like I'm going to hire someone, hire. And then this is just the same as arc, even though it looks like it should be arch with the CH, it's an arc. And then we end on the E, hierarchy. We have first syllable stress, so these are a little faster. Probably the hardest part is coordinating those R's. Hierarchy, and getting that I-er combination there. Good word, good question. Let's see what else we have. Muhammad would like to know the pronunciation difference between the different theirs. I do have a video about this as well. So we have there for location. We have there for possessive pronoun, and there for contraction for they are. And guess what? No pronunciation difference. They're all a voiced TH sound, and the air diphthong. So they're all like TH plus air there. So they're going with their friends over there. All the same. So these are mostly about using the right spelled form in written language. In speaking, you don't have to worry. They're all pronounced the same there. And so that's helpful when you're speaking, because you don't need to know which one you're using. When you're writing, you do need to know which one's the possessive, the location, and the contraction. Great question. And then your other question, we're versus were. These are different. So at the beginning of class, we were talking about how were is just the vowel. And then we had where, which was the air vowel. And then we're is like the ear diphthong. So we're and were. So for example, that's where we were. We're where are we're going where? So it's hard to use we're with these other words in a sentence. Great question. Again, spelling doesn't help us in American English. Oftentimes, in fact, it leads us astray because it's inconsistent. Once you learn about the sounds of vowel sounds and the various ways that they can be spelled, and you learn some of these more common, frequently used words that don't always follow the rules, that really helps a lot. You get a sound system and an organization. I'm going to recommend a resource for you on my website, which on SpeechModification.com, if you go to our store page, we have a lot of free downloads. And one of the ones that is free right now is our vowel guide. Basically, this guide here to American English vowels is going to tell you what all the different vowel sounds are, how they're commonly spelled, which words are the most frequent words with those sounds. And let me see if I have a copy of it for you here. They'll also show you anchor words so you can know what to compare to, just like when we were talking about will and well, and that will and fill and hill were all pink pig words, and well and hell and fell were all red tent words. That gives you some comparison. And then, like I said, the 10 to 15 most common words with those vowels. The second page of this document also gives you some minimal pairs. So it gives you examples of words like hill and hell, or live and leave, the most common error patterns you might have for those. So it's a really good kind of 2-page resource that you can use as you're learning the vowel sounds, as you're going through and identifying which vowels are challenging for you. The other resource here on the free downloads that I always recommend to you is checking out the overview of accent for your native language. It's going to show you which vowels you're going to be saying and which vowels you tend to not be able to hear the difference between, what errors you typically have, because our accent errors come from our native language. We learn a sound system in the first language. It sets up our brain for how we hear and learn all of the other languages. And sometimes we can make those differences. Of course, if you speak American English, spend a long time using English, you start to develop the American English sound system as well. But your brain will trick you. I'll be saying one vowel sound and you're going to hear it differently until you train your brain to really pull apart and hear those American vowels. And as I said, the spelling makes it more confusing because it can also influence what you think you hear. When you really start to get down to the details of the vowels, you can correct that. You can make those changes, but knowing which patterns you tend to have because of that native language sound system is very helpful in moving forward and making improvements in American English. So all of those are free. You can get them on SpeechModification.com and check those out. And they help you as you're using, attending these classes, looking at our Word of the Day videos, using our vowels playlist, and in general for your pronunciation, using dictionaries, just having that information so that you can use resources to get your questions answered. Of course, I love answering your questions as well, so keep asking them to me. Let's get to a few more before we wrap up for today. Let's see. Olvia wants to know with je, about je and je. Yes, this is a great topic. So she's talking about the je sound, which is usually spelled with letter S. It's in words like measure, or, for example, version. And the j sound, that's usually spelled with letter J or sometimes with G. That's in virgin. And the reason I'm choosing these two words, they're not super common words, but I have a video coming out tomorrow, 2 different videos, a long version and a short version, that walks you through the difference between the j and the j to help you. The main difference is my j sound should continue. It's like the sh sound, sh, exact same tongue position, sh, except my voice is on. So if I can say, for example, passion, passion with that sh in the middle, then I can say version with that voiced sh in the middle, versus this sound, j, j, like judge, judge, is like the ch sound plus my voice. So if I can say church, I can say judge. That sound just gets pushed out, doesn't continue. And you can see it looks like a D before my j. So my shape that I end in is the same as my sh or j shape, but I start with my tongue closing off the air, ch, j, up in the D and T position, and then I release into a short j sound. So check those out tomorrow. That's tomorrow's words of the day, version and virgin. It's going to help you with this. I also have a video about this that talks about words like measure and treasure and where that j sound is hidden in those letter S's. And Olvia, you make a really good observation that people tend to interchange these. If you have one but not the other in your language, what I often hear is people using this when they should use this, and vice versa. So complicated topic. That was a very quick, speedy version of teaching you that. And you can watch that new release video tomorrow to get a little bit more detail on that. Thank you so much. Many people have been asking for help with those sounds, and I think it's a really important question that you asked. Okay. So Martine Ruiz wants to know, or is saying that the short I vowel sounds like our A vowel, but when he hears it is big, it sounds like our E vowel. Yeah, so what you're noticing is in the front part of the mouth, we have our E like green, we have our I like pig, and we have A, which in American English, we don't actually do the A by itself. And we have our our red vowel. So we have A is our gray day. So all of these are kind of in a similar position in the mouth. And what Spanish speakers tend to do is use the Spanish E vowel when they are saying things like it is big. And the main difference here between E and I is that you really need to have a relaxed tongue. So it's slightly lower for the I sound, but the main difference is that E has tension and is just like the Spanish E versus I is more relaxed. So you might try relaxing the face and making more of a tense E and a relaxed I, and also lowering the tongue a little bit. I do have a number of videos about E versus I on my vowels playlist that will walk you through more examples and help you differentiate those. It is definitely a challenge for Spanish speakers, and actually many other native language speakers have that pattern as well. The I sound is just less common in other languages. Another thing that I think often helps is making the 3 front lax vowels and working on opening the jaw a little bit for each. These are all relaxed. So if I can say bit, bet, bat, and feel that my tongue is lower and my jaw is slightly more open for each, but my tongue stays relaxed, I'm avoiding doing the E and the A, but more relaxed. I, ah. Again, not easy, obviously, but figuring out what things help you to hear and differentiate those sounds as well as to create them correctly tends to be useful. Okay, we're past our 30-minute time, but I'll go a little bit longer to answer a few more questions. And if you have to go, that's okay. You can watch the replay later, and then we'll wrap up. If I can't get to everyone's question today, we will be back again next Friday, as well as having an additional class for our members on Sunday at 11 o'clock Seattle time. So let's see. We have... Mohammed is saying he's finding the link is not working properly on the download. And yes, I can include that link and send it to you. I'll put that in the comments for this video so you can go directly to get that download. Thanks so much. Okay, so Susanta wants to know about the word rapport, hereditary, and itinerary. So rapport just has a silent T and a schwa at the beginning, rapport, and the or vowel. Hereditary, that ARY says the air diphthong, airy, hereditary, has second syllable stress, and the red, R-E-D, just has the red tent vowel. And then itinerary, that's a hard one. That one sounds like diphthong I, then tin, then that AR is also an air. So both hereditary and itinerary end with airy. This one's just harder because it has airy, so that's a challenging combination. I'd probably build that from the back. I would try airy, airy, itinerary, itinerary, second syllable stress. Great. Okay. And we have a question, what's wrong with Ebonics? I'm not sure what you're referring to specifically. There's nothing wrong with Ebonics. That's an older terminology for African English vernacular, African American vernacular English. So there's a lot of different names for this dialect that is spoken by many African Americans, many Blacks in America. There's just different patterns. It's a different dialect of English. So you'll notice that some Black Americans who speak with this dialect have differences than other American dialects. And there is, I do have information about that because sometimes people are looking to know the differences between the dialect that they learned as a younger person and the dialect that's spoken, for example, in their office professionally. So Ebonics is just another name for that dialect. And there's nothing wrong with it. I do find that some of my clients and viewers want to know information about that and have some help with the differences in how words are pronounced so that they can do what's called code switching, which is, we all do this to some degree. If we're speaking professionally, we might use certain words or certain pronunciations. If we're speaking casually, we use others. If we're speaking with people who have the same dialect as us, we use different choices and different pronunciation than we do with people who speak a different dialect of English, both within the US and internationally. So that's, I think, for everyone, the useful thing is to know about the information about your dialect and how it may be different, and where you may choose to use it or not. Certainly, I often talk about casual versus professional speech, which brings me to our last question that I'm going to cover, which is, we talked about, or I showed at the beginning for the thumbnail of class, the phrase, what's he going to do? So if I say this, what is he going to do, doesn't sound super fluent, super natural, but it's correct. But what we often hear in real speech for American speakers is that we link words and we make reductions. And in this case, what's he, sometimes we leave that H off. And in that case, instead of what's he, leaving this as a T and an S sound, it becomes more like what Z. The S becomes more of a voice sound, what's he, and then going to do, I can say that, going to do, but I rarely would. I would much more often use a schwa there, going to do. Or another case, when I link those, my T might become more of a D, and it becomes more like, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? And what I wanted to point out here is that professionally, I can do, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? What's he going to do? Another version that you'll hear is, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? And I would say that one would be more for use in casual speech. So relaxed speech with friends, colleagues at work, but nothing formal. If I were talking to a client or my boss or trying to make a sale, something more professional, I would probably choose to use what's he gonna do, or what's he going to do, what's he going to do, what's he going to do, and not what's he gonna do. Depends on the context, but there's different levels of formality in speech, and knowing the right code to be in, the right amount of formality, is something that's pretty useful for most people as they're learning about making changes to sound and be more fluent when speaking English. So thank you everyone for a wonderful class today and great questions. I'm sorry I didn't get quite to every single word that every person requested, but those of you who are members, I'm gonna mark down your words and we'll cover them for sure in our Sunday class. Those of you who aren't members yet, consider becoming a member to be able to come to those extra classes and see the extra videos for members. And we'll be back again for everybody, all of our subscribers and viewers, next Friday with our next live question and answer class, as well as tomorrow with our Word of the Day class. And tomorrow will be that version and virgin, those classes, and I hope that that's helpful for many of you. So thanks so much for being a part of the channel and for coming to class. I really appreciate all the support, and it's wonderful to see so many people coming back week after week. I'm Christine Dunbar from SpeechModification.com. Remember, if you want to sound American, you can do it. SpeechModification.com. Bye, guys. Thank you. See you tomorrow.